Good morning from a very foggy drive going through National Forest to New River Gorge. So this morning I am doing the bridge walk. I'm trying to think, I'm like, wait, I do too many things. I'm doing the bridge walk. Visibility is next to nothing right now. But it's been a pretty good drive. It was long from Snowshoe. I ended up staying in Snowshoe because it would have been 2 hours to drive to the rest area and then 1 hour to New River Gorge when I could just drive 2 hours this morning from Snowshoe. So I ended up staying. So the weather was pretty bad last night. It was raining and stuff. But the drive's been pretty good. It got light about 6:50, which is really late now. You know, I miss my 4 a.m. wake ups. But I've got about 38 miles to go, about 40 minutes. So I'll get there an hour early, just so I can like veg and chill and wipe my windshield. There we go. Just veg and chill out, maybe make a cup of tea again and just kind of relax so that I don't have to, I don't really, some people like they roll in like a minute before and they're like the last person, they hold up the group, and you know, I'm not one of those. I like to get somewhere early. I like to get on the plane first. You know, I like to just kind of chill and sit. A lot of it is just because I need to just gauge how my back is doing. I just need to make sure that I, you know, stretch and everything and just, you know, decompress and get ready for the day. So we'll have our little morning meditations and all that stuff, and that, you know, helps me kind of get the day started. So really pretty drive. Didn't really see a lot the first hour and a half because it was just dark. But anyway, only got about 40 minutes to go. So pretty easy drive. I would like to get another SD card, but I haven't seen any kind of shopping center, and I don't think there would be one where I'm going. But it's fine. I've still got 3 hours left on this SD card, and I do have to figure out a way to harness my phone onto me. So that's the only thing, is that I can't hold anything. So I can wear my GoPro, and I do have some sort of like exercise band type thing, but I don't know how it would affect the camera because it has like a plastic case. I do have somewhere, I have like just an elastic band kind of holder for my phone that would go on my arm. But I think I have to put my phone in my pocket for my Strava, and I'm pretty sure at some point we can take our phone out and take a picture. But I think the GoPro should be fine. It's a great experience I've seen on the internet, so hoping it's a great experience for me. But yeah, it's about 2 hours. It says 3 hours, but it's not really. After that, it's an 8-hour driving day today, so it's pretty long. So I think after that I'm going to go park up and get on the computer and try to get a video finished. I've got a call with Harriet tonight, and then drive into North Carolina. So West Virginia, you've been great. Yesterday was so fun at Snowshoe. I discovered a whole other side of the mountain toward the last, after I did the 50-minute ride, which I couldn't film anything like the last half of the day because my GoPro battery died. They're not very good, but I had a really good time, and then ended up getting dinner and then just hanging out with my friend, and so it was good. It was a good day. But you know, it's like the whole place kind of shut down now because they have one race coming up in the end of September, and then after that they pretty much shut down for about a month, and then they open for ski season. But yeah, Snowshoe was fun. I wish I discovered the other side of the mountain, the other ski lift, earlier, because Skyline Trail was exactly my kind of vibe. It was all the tabletop jumps and the switchbacks and real fast. But I had some good runs. You know, I did I think 10 runs plus a 50-minute trail ride, so I really got, you know, a lot in. But it's a good park. I wouldn't say it was in my top 3 though. My top 3 is still Angel Fire #1, Big Sky #2, and Mountain Creek #3. So yeah, but I'm always up for, you know, a new park, and this one really isn't that far from, you know, from Indiana. It's only, I think, like 6 hours or something. Not really that far, so it's very popular with the Midwest. The fireman that I was riding with yesterday was from Ohio, so drove 6 hours from Cleveland to come down. So yeah, so okay, cool. Well, I'm just gonna keep going on, and I will see you guys in a little bit when I get to the bridge walk. I keep saying river walk. It's not the river walk. The river walk's in San Antonio, and it's a shithole. It's like a petri dish of tourism. But yes, the river walk. No, the bridge walk. Wake up, Jenny. I have only had one Frappuccino this morning. I need to have another one. So this is what happens when I don't drink coffee. I have to drink hideously sweet, contrived Frappuccino drinks day 2 and have some more bananas and yogurt and all that good stuff and stretch and get ready. Oh my God, we have a new one. We have a new national park. I have 4 left. Let me turn around and take a picture, but I have 4 left before I'm done with all of the parks in the lower 48. This is the visitor center. So let me turn around. I don't know what time the visitor center opens. Let me ask this guy over here. Okay, that's the visitor center. It opens at 9. There's also Fayette Station Road driving tour. That looks pretty good. Scenic views. So I'm going to turn around. This is really pretty. They've got picnic area. They've got hiking trails. This is a really, really nice parking lot. Guy on his computer. That's funny. He just waved at me. I was like, influencers. You got to work everywhere. That's one thing I don't do. I don't like spend all day, you know, there's only a few times where I've been like sitting on my computer trying to get something uploaded in Starbucks, but generally I don't, you know, sit in my van all day and work because it's kind of boring. So let me get a picture of the sign. Oh, I'm so happy. All right, this is the Bridgewalk parking, so I'm just gonna go park over here. All right, I'm gonna sit and wait for a bit. I've got an hour, so my trusty jet boil is down there boiling water. Just making a cup of tea. He looks so little. My fake jet boil. Why did this move? What the hell? There we go. Anyway, so yeah. So this is the extent of my cooking skills. Anyway, so this makes about 2 cups of tea or chai. And then, yeah, so great turnout. No, actually there's a gift shop here and the visitor center opens at 9. So when I'm done with the walk, I think that's all I'm going to do today. There is another hike, but if the weather is kind of blah, I do have a long drive to get to a Starbucks and to get to a rest area, and there's a dog over there. Stray dog. Okay, so a few more people. We only have 5 people on this tour, which is great. Yeah, so something is leaking from my van. Just looks like water. I don't know, I have to get that checked out. Anyway, let me get all my gear on. I'm going to wear my Lululemon skating jacket, which has zippered pockets, put my key in there, and then wear my GoPro, and then just have my phone like shoved down my pants, like in a little, not fanny pack, but it's going to go like in my underwear. You don't need to know that, but anyway, that's where it goes. Like seriously, what do I look like? So anyway, this is my getup for the bridge walk. And the lady's like, did you stay here overnight? I was like, no, can I though? Like, no. So anyway, no, I said no, I drove 2.5 hours from Snowshoe. Okay, so we got 5 people and this is good. I think I signed everything. I'm gonna go in the gift shop. This is fun, check this out. It's like, you can be as happy as these people. And it's just like the adventure courses. So yeah, everyone's got hoodies on because they need the pockets. And there's a Highline view. And there's people getting married, or they think this is prom. This is fun. All right, let me go in the gift shop for a minute. Okay, and then I'll use the restroom. I want a t-shirt that says, I climbed the bridge walk. Okay. Oh, this is cute. Oh, this is really cute. That's the one I want. I want a lightweight hoodie. Perfect. Okay. Well, this is cool. I got this like phone strap thing. You can't see it because it's actually on my phone, so I can have it around my neck and film. It's kind of like rubber bandy. So these are all the tour guides, and our tour guide is the lady that checked me in.
You will go through that top first, then you're going to put your legs left and right through here, or left, right, left, however you want to do it. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through the top, then you're going to go through that first hole, go through the top, go through that second one. Now there's a blue tag on the top right here on the right. You got this loop in the front that goes just like that. You got a strap here on the left hand side. You're going to pull that strap tight. I always pull mine out like this instead of just trying to pull it. You're going to get it as tight as you can on your stomach without squeezing yourself to death. Then if you got one of these straps, just strap that in, just tuck it in, or if not, you can tuck it in at the top. Now there's one on the back. I suggest you tighten that up before you put it on, because it's going to make it a little bit easier. But you're going to line that up with your spine, just like this. You're going to pull that as tight as you can get it to go. And then you're going to take it and you're just going to tuck it in at the top like that. Now I can help you, or you can do the buddy system, however you like to do it. And my name's Dream. I'm going to stroll you guys across the bridge, tell you some history about it. Now, if you haven't been to the visitor center, I definitely recommend you going there. It's got a lot of information, a lot of stuff about the area to do, and also about our heritage. Across from it is a gift shop with a little ice cream parlor. Of course, we have the biggest gift shop right back there of Bridge Walk Memorabilia. Okay, if you look out in the middle of that bridge, you're going to see a hump. See that hump? That's what we call a camber. That allows for the rain and the snow melt to come off of there. It also adds strength to the bridge. And what we don't realize is you're going to be going up a 4.5-foot incline. Once we get to the center of that bridge, you'll be able to see both ends at one time. You just walk to the end there.
Okay. Like nature.
I like to play tricks on people. Okay, once I hook you up, I'm going to lay this on your right shoulder. Now, once you start walking, it'll follow you like this, like a little puppy dog. I ask that you just pretend it's not even here, because if you pull down on it, or if you just hold it, causes friction on this cable. It's going to make it a little bit difficult to move if we hold on to it. Also, if we get stuck in one of those intermediates that are hanging down, just take the flat palm of your hand, jiggle it through there like that, and she'll come on through there.
Okay, I'm hooked up and I'm really close because I've got this thing around my neck to stop my phone from falling off me, but there's the rest of the people, so all right, there's my GoPro.
Okay, I'm going to hook you up to the world's longest continuous safety cable. We've got 69 of those intermediates that are hanging down, and we're going to go through them with these trans fasteners. Now, these trans fasteners have gears on both sides. It also has a solid piece on the top. It's got a little groove right there. It goes right along that cable. Now, the site preparation for this bridge began in 1973, where they filled up some coal mine shafts with sand and gravel. Then they started actually working on the bridge in 1974. Now, they finished up in October of 1977. Now, this bridge was put together by U.S. Steel in Enbridge, Pennsylvania, and it was designed by the Michael Baker Jr. Company. Now, Enbridge put in a bid at $33 million, but it actually ended up costing $37 million. Now, in a sense, this bridge has been put together twice. The first time up in Enbridge, where they put the beams together, where they was milled within the tolerance of 1/100th of an inch. They took them apart and they put them on a railroad, and they shipped them right down to Nowlin, West Virginia, which is just 19 miles up the road. Now, some of those beams were still too heavy and too long, so they put them back on the train, and they brought them right down here, and we hoisted them up with cables. Now, the rest of them they put on a tractor and trailer, and they shipped them right up here to the construction site. Now, this bridge is owned by the Department of Highways. We got a contract negotiated with them in 2009. We started these tours in 2010. This has always been here. They built it when they built the bridge for the maintenance people. All the area around us is owned by the National Park. We became a national park in 2020. Now, also in 2013, we were placed on the National Register of Historical Places. Usually takes about 50 years, but we did it in 36. Now, we also have a quarter that has got our picture on it. We did that in 2005, and we also have a U.S. postage stamp, too. So we're real proud of ourselves. This is a landmark in engineering right here that we're getting ready to go across. So, with that being said, and also, this bridge does shake and it does rattle, because there's 16,200 vehicles that pass it every day. So don't let it upset you or bother you. It's just sometimes these rails will shake a little bit. It's usually this bottom one. but it does make a lot of noise. You'll hear that as we're walking. And when we get to the center of the bridge, we'll be 851 feet up. If we were up on that highway, we'd be 876 feet up. So, we are going to get started now. Get this party rolling.
All right.
You can walk up to mine. Be careful, there's some spiders there. It's got their little home.
I know, they didn't even pay to be on here.
Yeah.
Freeloaders.
Freeloaders.
All right.
All right, is everybody ready?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to roll. Doing okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I went to Tallulah Gorge in Georgia, and that's when the, Carl Willenda like tightrope walked across it, and I was like, nah, this is much better.
Okay, if you look down to the right, in between that V, straight in center is a brown looking triangle, like a piece of pie looking dirt. See that? Straight down in the middle of the mountain.
Oh yeah, I see it way in the distance.
Yes.
Yeah, with a little like white building or something. Yeah.
That is Hawks Nest State Lodge. Not only does it offer the lodging and been newly renovated, but it also has a nice dining area. They also have a nice balcony that you can walk out on and look straight up here at this bridge. You can also look down over that balcony and look at the dam down below. Now it does have a couple walking trails off of it, and they also offer a jet boat ride. They will bus you down to the river, put you on a jet boat. He'll bring you up to about that area right down in there, and he'll go back after a little bit, and he tells you history along the way. Now, I definitely recommend that jet boat ride because he tells you a lot of the different things that went on down on that side of the river. Coal camps, no company store, and everything, the tunnel. They built a tunnel down there where a lot of men were killed, and they can show you that tunnel. But I definitely recommend you do that. Now, if you go on down over the mountain just a tiny bit over the hill, you will come to Hawks Nest Overlook. That is a nice rock formation where you can walk out there, look through those binoculars they have set up, and look up here at the bridge and also down there at that pretty dam. Now, if you don't mind some curves, go 10 more miles down the mountain. I like to straighten those curves out because I like to ride the curves. So I go down the mountain, and right as you get into Golly Bridge, on the right-hand side is a great big old waterfall. That is called Cathedral Falls. It's really, really pretty, and it has a nice picnic area too if you want to sit there and eat. Now this road on this side is Fed Station Road. Now this used to be the only way you could get from this side of the river over to this side of the river. What used to take about 45 minutes, this bridge cut it down to 45 seconds. Unless, of course, you're like me and got a little bit of a lead foot. Now this road was first paved in 1928, and it became part of the Department of Highways in 1933. If you'll go down that way, it'll curve you around, go across that bridge. There's several switchbacks on this side. On the second switchback is another waterfall. That is called Kmore Falls. You can park there on the right or the left and walk out to it as well. Now Kmore does have a couple of trails. They have a short one and they have a real long one that's got 833 steps up to an old coal mine. Now this used to be a one-way road, and it was a lot narrower than it is right now. So if you met anybody you had to squeeze over, or they had to back up, because you also got them big rocks overhanging that road. But it's a one-way road now, so you shouldn't have no problem. If you do meet somebody, then somebody didn't read the signs. Now back in 1994, Oprah Winfrey did a show from this bridge. She brought a lady here that wanted to overcome her fear of heights. So they brought her here to this big tall bridge. Now, it took us about an hour. Our owner, Benji, and her coach, took them an hour to talk her into it. But they finally got her to talk into it off this W plate. She rappelled 250 feet down. And her mother was down there watching her. Now that ought to get you over your fear in a hurry. Or you might mess your pants, it just depends.
Oh.
Hello. Now, Bridge Day, which is the third Saturday of every October. This year it's on the 21st. We have a way for the public to get involved. It is called the High Line. What that is a controlled zip line. What we do is we're going to gear you up right here on this W plate. We're going to take you down 700 feet over there to that second curve where all those rocks are. There will be somebody down there controlling your descent. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes, but to you it may feel like a lifetime. And the kicker is we're going to take you down backwards. Now the reason we're going to do that is so you can watch the base jumpers and all the rappellers all the way down through here. And if you can let go of that death grip on your phone, you can also get some pictures. It does require you to pre-register. October's just a month away, so if that's something you like to do, get signed up for it. I get to do it the day before. Okay, this is what we call an expansion joint right here. We have that rocker right down there that controls that. It keeps the bridge breathing. It goes with the wind and the heat. That's what opens the bridge up and also closes it. If this bridge did not breathe, it will come crack and distorted and it would shake itself to pieces. On a very high wind day, this bridge can move up to 4 feet side to side. And it could also move up and down. But this bridge does move. Even as we're walking, it's moving a little bit. Now, 3 weeks in September, we have highly trained, skilled engineers that come down and inspect this bridge, which is just around the corner. They will go over every piece of steel in this bridge before they leave. They go to the top, they go all through here, and they go clear to the bottom. Now, you probably noticed some trap doors as you was walking on the catwalk. That's for anybody that doesn't listen to me. I hit a button, you go through that trap door. No, really. That always wakes them up. They'll come down this catwalk. Every time you see a trap door, you're going to see this vent. That's called a vent. They will go in that vent dark because they're looking for any kind of light. If they see some light, that means we got a big problem there. Now they will also walk out on this box beam. That box beam is heavier than an I-beam because it's got an inside wall and an outside wall. They will walk out on that with a high-tech computer. That computer can tell them if there's any stress on that arch. Now this bridge is made out of Corten steel. When they were making the mix for it, they added copper to it. That's where you're getting this rustic look. A lot of people think this bridge is rusting, but it isn't. It's actually oxidizing more and more and more. That way this bridge never needs to be painted. If we were to paint this bridge every time, it would cost $1 million every time. So we're saving some money there. The only downfall with it is with regular paint, you can see some rust, or you can see if there's a hoof or something. With this Corten steel, they have to know all the stages of oxidation. So they'll be able to look at it and tell you if there's something going on under there. And they will use a wire brush or a hammer to get underneath there to see what's going on.
I think I saw that the Golden Gate Bridge is 4 years to paint it from end to end, and as soon as they're done, they start over.
Yeah.
It's just endless paint.
in 1963, John F. Kennedy came to this area campaigning. He saw how economically undeveloped that we were. So in 1965, there was a committee formed called the Appalachian Development Act. They got Congress to appropriate $840 million for 6 highways in this state. One of those highways go up north, it's I-79. The other one goes down south, it's I-77. We all know it as Route 19. Now, before they built this bridge, Fayetteville had that road all over there to themselves, and we had this side to ourselves. I actually used to live out the road past the Ventures on the Gorge, and I would ride out my bike out here and watch them build this bridge. We had a nice little straight stretch out there as well, and we drag race all the time. We did that as much as we could. Those cops would come in, they'd write some tickets up, they'd leave, we'd wait till they leave, we'd go right back at it again. And I was right there. I like to drag race, so I was right there in it. And I still drag race at all these stoplights. I am a legend in my own mind. And I got it honest because my mom used to drop the handkerchief for him. Well, when they finally decided to finish out what they were going to do with this, they was like, what do we do with the 900-foot hole that's over a half a mile long? Well, the first bridge they thought about was a suspension bridge, but they knew that bridge wouldn't work because the towers up on the mountain will go up to 350 feet, and that would interfere with the aircraft. Well, then they thought about one like that one there, that truss bridge. But the piers would be too tall, it would be very costly, and you would have to get all the equipment out of the railroad car. So that's how they landed on this arch bridge. This arch bridge just goes with the area. Now, it took a lot of calculations, a lot of designs, a lot of paperwork. Those computers were not that fast back in the day. And so to make it out in a simple form, it would equal out to one man working 40 hours a week for 15 years just to design this bridge. Now, when they did start on the bridge, they didn't build it from the bottom up, they built it from the top down. They erected 2 towers on each side, 330 feet up in the air. Then they laid cables by helicopter. Those cables were made up of 265 pieces of steel wire, which equals out to 3 inches in diameter on that cable. Those cables, if you laid them end to end, would equal out to 22 miles. And they also weighed 30 tons apiece. Now, the next thing they put up was the diesel trolleys. Those diesel trolleys could only transport 50 ton at one time. Well, now back in the March of '75, they ran into a little problem. One of the towers, the brakes on the trolley had given out. So one of those towers were going to start to come down. Well, luckily the nut and bolt crew had just secured the leg on one of those towers. So when it got ready to fall, they knew that the guys down below was going to be in some deep trouble. The cables that went back in that woods was 10 miles long. Well, that broke loose, and when it broke loose, not only did it catch the rest of that tower, but it also topped out 80 to 100-foot trees, just like toothpicks. Well, then they looked over here on this side, and one of those cables, or one of those towers was starting to fall. It was headed right towards the office personnel and the engineers. Well, luckily the lofting cable caught that, and it didn't fall down and hit them. So they basically had to start all over. So when they started all over with that arch, they were doing what they call the tieback system. Those arches was like this. They were being held back what looked like great big fishing rods. Like I said, that was 10 miles of cable holding those back because they're going way back in the woods. Well, on the day they got ready to put, in the spring of '76, they were getting ready to put that last piece of the arch in. Well, that day started heating up pretty hot, and steel expands in the heat and it contracts in the cold. Well, they could hear it start cracking. They knew it was expanding. So they was thinking, what are we going to do? Because those arms was also starting to sway. So instead of pulling them back, they raised them up, and that went in there, fit just like a glove. Now, the next thing they did was the arch towers. There was 13 of them, anywhere from 26 foot all the way up to 300 foot. They support that decking up above us. There's thousands of tons of concrete and reinforcement wire in that highway up above us. It also acts as a counterweight to the arch. Is that the Amtrak? There's the Amtrak. Barely see. There he goes. He usually goes up that side. Now there is 44 million pounds of steel and 44 million pounds of concrete in this bridge. There's enough steel in this bridge to manufacture 15,000 mid-sized cars. Now some of that concrete you can't see because it's 83 feet down in the ground. They had to identify some coal mine shafts, drill 6-inch holes, and fill it up with sand and concrete to make a cone. After they got those cones, they poured those white piers down below. They did those piers in a form, and they did it on a 12-hour continuous pour. One 12-hour shift, then another one. That way there'd be no cracks in that concrete. And they poured that concrete from right up here. They had great big buckets of it, they just poured it down in there. Now that arch is 1,700 foot wide, and it weighs 21,066,000 pounds. You could fit the Washington Monument, 2 Statue of Liberties under it, still have 20 feet to spare. There is also 1 million bolts in this bridge. Every one of them's got 180 pounds of torque on them. And also we only have 50 workers on this bridge. A lot of people think we have thousands and thousands. Just 50 of them, 25 on each side. And back in the day, they made 16 bucks an hour, which was pretty good money for back then. Now, we did have one fatality, but it wasn't working on the bridge. It was at the end of the day, they was on a makeshift platform. It kind of shifted and they all fell. Only one fatally hit his head. They didn't fall to the ground, they just fell on the platform. But he was actually from Golly Bridge, West Virginia. I hear another train.
There's the other one.
That's the coal train. That's why he went up this side. Now, that one yesterday was long, but they usually have 144 cars on them. In 1790, Virginia had a wagon road that came down to as far as Sewell, and that's just right up the road. You could only cross it by ferry, or if you found a railroad bridge, you could cross it that way. But that bridge right there, the Fayette Station Bridge, was the very first bridge built on this river. It was also designed by the Michael Baker Jr. Company. Now the politicians in Fayetteville pushed for that bridge because they wanted the faster way to get across the river. And also the county seat is in Fayetteville. Well, that bridge was built in 1889 and it's 279 feet long. Now when that bridge, when this bridge went in, that one became old and dilapidated. So what they did was they shut it down in 1997 and they rehabilitated it, put most of its original parts back in it. And they reopened it 1998, and they renamed that the Tony Hunsacker Bridge. Now, Mr. Hunsacker was chief of police in Fayetteville for 38 years. And besides giving out tickets, he was also Muhammad Ali's first opponent. Now, he got several jabs in on Muhammad Ali, but actually Muhammad Ali pretty much beat him down. Now, I'm not sure if he got the broke nose from Muhammad Ali or for somebody he gave a ticket to. Now, Muhammad Ali and Mr. Hunsacker became really good friends. Muhammad Ali came back here twice The last time was for Mr. Hunsacker's retirement party. And when Mr. Hunsacker passed away, I was very honored to play taps in his service. And not that long ago, Brad Paisley was right down there filming a country music video. Got the name the New River. Back in 1642, Walker Austin and 3 explorers were sent out to find the New River. Well, they came across this one. So it was a new river to them. So that's how we got our name. Now this river is the second oldest river in the world, with the first one being the Nile in Egypt. Only 8% of the rivers flow from the south to the north. This is one of those rivers. This comes from Blowing Rock, North Carolina, 256 miles up this way. It'll go down to the Gully, hit the canal. Then it goes into the Ohio, Mississippi, then the Gulf of Mexico. Now there's places in this river that's 55 feet deep. The Native Americans dubbed this river as the River of Death because of that strong undercurrent and because of those swift waters. It does have a lot of good fishing in it as well. The best place actually is to go down to Hawks Nest Dam, where they have a boat dock, and you can take your boat out there and go fishing. Just make sure you have your fishing license up to date, because those park rangers will give you a nice autographed piece of paper if you don't. Now, would anybody like to sit down?
Nope.
I wanted to offer. Now, on Bridge Day, both sides of this bridge is shut down. Traffic on both sides of the river is rerouted. Boy, do people love it when we do it. Now, on this side, we have the base jumpers and spectators. Last year, we guesstimated about 150,000 people. And on this side, we have the press, the ambulance, the sheriff, the shuttle buses bringing back the base jumpers. Now, those base jumpers have to have at least 50 jumps, and they have to be certified. They will go over the top of this bridge every 10 seconds. They've got a 4 to 5 second hang time. They will not open that chute until they've cleared that arch. The main reason for that is they don't want a gust of wind to come along, knock it back into it. Now we also have the tandem jump. If you've got $1,500 extra in your pocket, you can jump with it. And we also have the catapult. I call it the 007 chair. They put that base jumper in the chair, count them down, hit a button, they go flying over the side. Now down there where that bus is, we put a great big old X on that beach. If those base jumpers hit that X, they get half their money back. But most of them land in the trees and the water and the railroad tracks. And we do stop the trains that day. And we have a boat to pick them up out of the water when they hit the water. And I'm not sure about the guys in the trees. We don't even tell you any history because you're going to be too busy watching everybody jump. So we'll stay out here about a half an hour, then we'll take you back. We have groups all day long doing that. On this side down this way, you'll see the numbers on the catwalk, 1 through 22. We've got teams of 22 repellers. Now they have to have a rappel of 250 feet, and they have to have their rope of 1,000 feet. Now that one spot, which everybody wants, is 700 feet down. So to make it fair that somebody doesn't always get the one, They the night before they get together, put those numbers in a hat, draw them out. That way it makes it fair. So we got repellers this way, jumpers this way, and highliners down that way. So there's something going on everywhere. And also over in Fayetteville, they'll have a chili cook-off with live music, all kinds of stuff going on that week. The Adventures on the Gorge, the night before they have a taste of the Gorge, which they have all kinds of different foods you can try out. So it's a pretty big deal. It's like a big old fair day. That rock, that is Long Point Trail. It's a little bit over 1.5 miles walk in there. Once you get there, there's a nice big old ledge. You can get some really good pictures of this bridge over there, and also of the gorge. Or you can just sit there. Now up in the upper left where all those rocks are, that is Endless Wall. That has 2 trails, Nuttall Berg and Diamond Point. Diamond Point is really pretty. Just be careful when you go up there, not get too close to the edge. At one time, there was 20 to 30 freight passenger trains on those tracks. There was also 7 coal mines in this big area. There was 40 coal camps every half mile up and down this river. Like I said, if you take that jet boat tour, you will see some down that way, and also the remnants of the old company store. Now, between 1890 and 1930, coal was really booming. There was all kinds of coal going on in those mines. But after World War II, after all that easy coal that they was being able to get, they couldn't get it no more. They had done mined it all out of there. So they brought in machinery to go back in there and get the rest of that out of there, which put a lot of coal miners out of work. So they started leaving the area and going to different states to find jobs. I know out there in Thurman used to be a big old town where they had, mostly that was where the train depot was. And after they switched from a steam locomotive to a diesel, that's when that town started kind of dwindling down. Not to mention everything else that went on out there. They had a lot of trouble with the miners killing one another, union and non-union. Now, if you was a union miner, you wore a red bandana around your neck. And that's how we got the term redneck. That was actually caused from coal miners wearing the red bandanas. And that way you could tell who was union, who was non-union. But there was a lot of wars between coal miners, and just a lot of stuff that happened to where everything started dwindling down. Now there's only 3 trains that ride on this track now. That was the Amtrak we saw earlier. It runs Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And the coal train you just saw. And also a freight train. Now that coal train goes down to Shillian, which is about 50 miles down the road. He'll fill up those coal cars. He'll go back up to Newport News, where they ship it out overseas. Now, if you're interested in looking at a coal mine, there is Beckley Exhibition Coal Mine. It is a great tour. They'll take you right down into that coal mine. It's a good tour, though, but if you haven't been there, I definitely would go because it's very interesting. And also those dead trees on that side is where someone set the gorge on fire last year. Kind of eerie to cross that bridge to see a fire in the gorge. Now right there where that rock is down there in the middle, up above that rock is a lot of houses. And they had to water those houses down to keep them from burning. Back in the day when I lived down this road, we was just a hop and skip over the road there. We had 19 acres. And we fed all the deer and all the turkeys. And the bear helped themselves. Now, if you'll notice this discoloration up here in the bridge, that is caused from road salt. We had to quit using that road salt because it's damaging the steel in the bridge. We went to a liquid form called calcium magnesium acetate. They start a mile before the bridge, go across, and a mile after. It does work because all the years I drove to Oak Hill, I get so far, it'd be ice and snow over this way. Come up this way, there'd be nothing here. The only reason I don't think they use it all over the state is because those car salesmen can't sell you a new car after you get rusted out. But I did not know it was packing wind, and it was packing heavy wind. It blew me side to side right here.
Oh no.
Lanyards was going all over the place, and with the wind we got soaking wet because we were all this way, and all of us got drenched on the back only because the wind was throwing it in on us.
Yeah.
But usually we don't get wet. And we can also stay out here in a lightning storm because this bridge is grounded. Now the markings on the side of this bend is caused by pigeons. That is pigeon droppings. Now pigeon droppings have acid in them. So we brought 2 peregrine falcons in here, which is an endangered species. They are also the fastest animal on the planet. They've been clocked at going 200 miles per hour. Now their favorite dish is a pigeon. Also, we have some red-tailed hawks in the area. They usually sit down there in the groove of that piece of steel down there, waiting for something to come along. But they like the pigeons as well. You can always tell the male from the female because the female's way bigger than the male. We also have a couple of turkey vultures, which I have not seen in quite some time, but they have a 7-foot wingspan. So they do not have to flap those wings very often. And probably about a month ago, I saw Yogi Bear going down this path. He was looking for a picnic basket. He was just moseying along. But you will see maybe see a pigeon or two. You will definitely see where they've been. They used to stay down this way, but they're moving up north for some reason. They've never done that before. I'm not sure why. Unless that approach on the end of the bridge is too loud for them. We go across the bridge in the bus, you'll be able to see it. Looks like a zipper. It's got teeth that intertwine like that. That's what keeps this bridge breathing. Now that rocker right down there on that stand, those have to be replaced every 2 to 3 years because they get worn out. They stay pretty busy, especially when it's in the summertime. So the way they do that, they'll come across that bridge in a bucket truck. They'll come down there to where that stand and rocker is. They will take what they call bladders, and they will fill those bladders up in sync with water. They'll place it on top of this bent underneath the box beam. Now what they do is they'll place that 1.5 to 2 inches away from that rocker. They will go in there and they'll slide that old one out. Then they'll put the new one in there. After they're done, they will let those bladders out in sync. Everything has to be done in sync. Because you don't want, there's always something that's going to be underneath that column right there. So that's why they bring in those big old bladders. They use those in tow trucks as well. On the cars and big trucks, if they can't get up, they'll fill those bladders up. That helps them lift it up out of there. They escaped, it was in the middle of winter time. They didn't have no shoes on or no way to get anything to eat. Well, as they was traveling, they went 500 miles in 43 days. They had to avoid wildlife and any kind of the Indians that might want to come back and capture them again. Well, on the way back, that Dutch lady decided she was hungry. So Mary had to fight her off twice because she's basically looking at Mary like a big steak dinner. Well, Mary crossed the river to get away from her, but she kept in touch with her so she wouldn't get lost. Well, they made it back to Radford, Virginia. And 10 years later, one of Mary's sons came back, but the other one had passed away. And eventually, she and the Dutch lady made up. And I think it's just because the Dutch lady finally got a good dinner in her belly. The reason I tell you this story is there is a book out called Follow the River. That is just what Mary and the lady did. They followed this river all the way back up to Radford, Virginia, 500 miles in 43 days in the snow, and avoided everything they could. She's a true pioneer. Now, this bridge is a good base for a lot of things, but the one thing it doesn't do a lot of times is give a lot of history of what went on in this gorge. There was generals, colonels, lieutenants, wars, Indians, coal mines, wars between coal miners. There was coal camps, there was coal mines. There was so much history in this gorge, it would take for, a lot of time just to read up on it. But I do encourage you to go to the visitor center or get on Google, read about the history in this gorge, because it's amazing. I like to read about history. I like to read about where I'm at and what's been going on in it. But like I said, the book is called Follow the River. I condensed it down to just a little tiny bit, but I do encourage you to read about the history in this gorge. And that does conclude the tour, and I want to thank each and every one of you for strolling with me.
Thank you. This actually wasn't bad for me at all. This was fine. Yeah. I know. Wasn't me. I'm already half handcuffed with this thing, so just, you know. All right, I'm done with the walk. I did it. Actually, it wasn't too bad. That was super fun. Really good history. And there's my GoPro, filming my GoPro. And just gonna wait. We set the alarm off though.
Get your heart racing a little.
Yeah. The first couple of steps, you know, when you start looking at that second bar, you know, like.
Kind of like, okay, that's not what's up.
Yeah. But then like science and logic and physics come into play. I'm glad I took some sort of like built a little thing in high school that moves, and you know, one engineering class at least. Like I took a rocks class in college, and that's the best class for like hiking and mountain biking and driving. So I'm like, oh, that's limestone, oh, that's sandstone. So, but I don't really. My dad was a structural engineer, so I trust this. Yeah, but he built like oil rigs and things. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Great. That was so fun. I got a sticker. I did it. Although I don't have the real estate for this in my van. I have to stick it somewhere else.